Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Today we're going to be doing the 9k subscriber Q&A, and it's going to be a long one again. We're going to go through each of the questions posted on the video, and I also asked the Discord if there was any questions. Now I haven't had a look at the Discord one, so hopefully it's clean, but there's a lot of notifications there, so it's going to be interesting going through them all. Anyway, if you want to join the Discord, there will be a link in the description. Most people focus on War Thunder, but there is areas for other games. We also do at least one giveaway a week, and we have a tournament coming up for the BF109 F4. It's going to be a 1v1 tournament sponsored by one of our moderation team, Dog for Life, and it's going to be live streamed as well. I think me and also Matrix are going to live stream it, so it's going to be a little bit of fun, I think. But anyway, let's get into the questions. So the first one is from Rockerboy. You what, mate? A good start. This is from Josh. Congrats on the 9k, man. Been with you since the beginning. In regards to the Challenger in-game right now, is it possible that an ERA package would be available for it? It currently suffers from its lackluster armor, and I'm wondering about your thoughts. The thing about the ERA package is I do believe it should be in-game. We just had a bunch of updates to the Challenger, but it's still not in a great state compared to a lot of the other, the higher-end MBTs. The issue with it is, even though I would love to see the ERA package, I don't think it would make that much of a difference. And the reason for this is because the ERA is in areas which are incredibly weak armor anyway. And with the addition of stuff like the Leopard 2A4, the Type 90, the AMX 40 with their crazy Heat FS, they're just going to punch through it anyway. They'll punch through the ERA, and then they'll punch through the armor. So overall, I don't think it'll make that much of a difference, but it would be nice to have. In terms of what they could do to improve the Challenger, they've already made a bunch of changes to the turret, which has been really nice. The only, I suppose, unhistorical thing they could do to actually put it meta would be to give it a bit more speed and, make it run around the map a little bit more. Make it much more like how mobile the Abrams is, and then we're talking about a machine which may be competitive. But if that isn't the case, then it'll stay where it stays. Or maybe if it gets another tank alongside it, maybe another Challenger like the Mark IV or something like that, or maybe even Scorpions or, something weird like that, then we're not going to see it change, and that's sad. For many reasons, but one that I do want to highlight, because not many people bring it up, just the sheer number of people who play each nation. So the most popular nation right now, at least from my opinion, is Germany. Seems like everybody is playing Germany. And then the second is America, and then Russians come in third, and then you have a toss-up between the other nations. So even with this being the case on popularity, like Britain probably is a bit more than the other nations, but it's still fourth in the list, and it's a far down fourth. So what you would need is for people to play Britain more. It's kind of as simple as that, but you can't force people to play anything in this game, otherwise it wouldn't be incredibly fair. So yeah, that is one of the issues that is a bit of an issue, is a bit of a problem that you can't really solve unless you force people into something they don't want to do, and obviously no game designer wants to do that. Hello TEC, just wanted to know if you've flown the XA-38 yet, and what are your thoughts on this aircraft? P.S. Can you wish me a happy birthday, mate? That would be amazing, thank you, and keep up the good work. Sincerely your fan, Matthew Williams. Well, sorry for the belated response, but happy birthday, Matthew. I hope you had a really good day. I actually had my birthday on the 29th of June, and it was a good day, so I hope yours matched it, I really do. When it comes to the XA-38, I have flown it a few times. I don't own it. I had it on a trial period kind of thing. And the reason I didn't make a video on it, because I didn't really find anything for me that was that interesting. Now, if you don't know what the XA-38 is, it's the Grizzly. It's the one with, I believe, it has the 75mm in it, yeah. And in ground forces, it has a bit of a use. The issue with it is it's a little bit heavy, right? So it can't go around the battlefield at the best click. Like, it can get outmaneuvered by a lot of aircraft, but the turret on the back is kind of nice. The speed of it is okay, but because of the level that it's at in aerialistic, that type of plane, it has to either be good at two things. It has to be really defensively capable, like an A-26, or it has to have really good offensive armament, like an AD-2 or an AD-4. And unfortunately, the Grizzly doesn't really have either. It sits more in the lines of like the ME-410s with the 50, where it's an interesting, cool idea to fly out once in a while, but it's not something you want out of a premium. For me, what I want out of a premium is a machine that's going to be competitive, not the best, but competitive, that will be good for grinding, because my philosophy around War Thunder is not, let's play the best vehicle or anything. It's, I want to research new stuff and play it, no matter what it is. And with something like an XA38, it's a lot harder to do that compared to the P47M or the P51 premiums, or my favourite, which is the one I always go back to if there's a new jet for America, is the F7F, the gift vehicle, which I personally think is one of the best gift vehicles we've ever had. It's a slightly better Tiger Cat than the one in the standard tree because of its secondary weapons, and I believe it also has a little bit more speed. But yeah, so from my point of view, there's not really much point in flying it, but if you want it to kind of round up a lineup in ground forces, that's the only place I can see it actually being useful. Frank Bradley says, absolute congrats dude, 10k subs, will be here very soon. Yeah, probably if I make more videos. I've been a little bit lackluster this month and I apologise for that, I've been very busy. What is your favourite American plane and tank from War Thunder, World War II, and post-World War II? So, for World War II, I've always had a bit of a penchant for the Chaffee. And the reason for this is because it filled a very specific role, and on the battlefield in War Thunder itself, the fact that it has the scouting ability is really nice. The fact that it has the 75, so it's capable of attacking the enemy. It's also got the 50 cal on top. It's pretty cool. It also is nice that we have a fully working and operational one in real life, so you can actually see it go around and actually, be in it yourself, I believe, which is great. When we talk about plane, plane's a bit more difficult, mainly because I know a lot about American planes, but I haven't ever really nailed down a favourite. If I was going to be consistent with what I find interesting in stuff like British and German vehicles, is the unsung heroes of World War II. Stuff like the Halifax, for example, or even the Focke-Wulf compared to the Bf-109, or something like a Hurricane compared to a Spitfire. So when we look at the American one, the unsung hero is the B-24. The B-24 did a lot of work, especially in the Pacific theatre, and it never gets remembered because everybody remembers the Flying Fortress. If you talk to the general person on the streets about World War II and ask them about American bombers, they're going to be like, oh, Flying Fortress, and that's because of all the media attention, it's because of stuff like Memphis Belle, which is completely fine, but the B-24 doesn't have the same caliber of attention. And because of that, it's kind of sad, because it put in a lot of work during the war. I compare it very similarly to the Halifax and how it's portrayed for Britain, a workhorse that did a hell of a lot of work but doesn't get the recognition, which is very sad. Post-World War II, now this is kind of a weird one, because post-World War II, when it comes to aircraft, it's pretty much jets. There's a few which were more on the lines. Sorry, I just have to check my mic. Yeah, it's still working. Okay, I won't check anymore. When it comes to post World War II, I'm not really a massive fan of jets. I never have been. I understand where the evolution came from. I understand where all that comes from, but generally, I just don't really care about them. Propellers is where I'm at and always have been when it comes to history, when it comes to War Thunder, when it comes to everything like that. I just find it more interesting than jet combat. But if I was going to pick one, it's got to be the Super Sabre. The Super Sabre was something that was born out of an idea, it was executed, and it was seen as a good success over the one before it, and it's also the first real step, in my opinion, that we had towards the next set of jets in the US. So it is definitely one of those to look for when you talk about evolution of design and evolution of jet combat. So yeah, probably that one. When we look at tanks once again is quite hard because I'm not that invested in the Korean War or the Vietnamese War. But if I was going to pick one, this is going to be an interesting choice. So the Patton II, the M47. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be like, why do you care about that tank? And the reason is because there was a film made in, when was it? It must have been the 1950s or 60s, and it was called Battle of the Bulge, right? And it was panned hard by critics and also even historic people. I believe even the president of the US came out and said it was unhistoric. And the reason for this is because it was completely. The story was pretty much made up. Obviously, the film itself was a little bit more blasé than what the Battle of the Bulge was. And it's Chaffees fighting M47s, and the M47 represents the King Tiger, and the Chaffee represents a Sherman. And, obviously at that time in 1965, as you can see, they didn't have many King Tigers, obviously, and they didn't have as many Shermans as they wanted. And I believe Chaffees were still in service, or at least they were just out of service, where the Sherman was out of service way before it. So there was obviously more Chaffees around. And when it comes to the King Tiger, you have this, which is, of course, a Patton II. And I believe this was also happened in Patton itself, where German tanks were Pattons as well. You can see a better picture here. And as you can see, these are just Patton IIs. These are the Chaffees, as you can see, or at least kind of Chaffees. And most of them had names on them, which was cool. Like I believe we had Ape Face and Bargain Basement. But yeah, I think the design of this is great. So yeah, let's go with that. So not really history related, but Battle of the Bulge was one of the films from my childhood that I knew was never historically accurate, but it was always a fun, entertaining watch, so I'm happy I watched it. This is Bwendel. Wait, did I miss nope, that was that one. Bwendel says, another month, another 1,000 subs. Congrats, mate, thank you. I might be blue sky thinking here, but do you think Gaijin is starting to experiment with guided weapon systems, seeing as we now have the Fritz X bomb in-game? Also, while ignoring having to justify their usefulness or overall reason to be added, would you like to see World War I aircraft and tanks, plus some more pre-World War II vehicles, added to the game to fill up 0 to 1 reserve BR? I can't wait to see what you do for 10k. A vlog at an aircraft museum or something might be fun if you'd be up for that. I would love to do that. But anyway, the first part, I think so. I think it's the first test into air guided weapon systems. Obviously, we've had ATGMs for quite a long time now, and the majority of them work. The keyboard ones are a little bit glitchy, but the mouse-aimed ones seem to work pretty well. The Fritz X bomb is the most obvious choice when it comes to air-guided systems. So the fact that they've added it in now, it seems very much similar to when they added in Schrag music, where they gave it to a few aircraft, and I hope it doesn't peter out like the Schrag music did. I don't really see a use in the Fritz X bomb. I don't really see a use in air-guided systems at all, really, especially because they can be countered by experienced pilots just being accurate with their bombs. In naval forces, you can't get high enough to use them, and most of the time it's just easier to either rocket or gun down a ship. But overall, I do think it is a step that they're going to take, because the way that we've seen mechanics happen is that they generally get added to a few vehicles, or maybe one or two, test it out, and as they've said, this is a test for the Fritz X bomb. And then from there, they either add it across the board, or it kind of fizzles out into nothing. So as I said, the fizzle out into nothing is like the Shrug music, the adding it to all is smoke grenades, or something like a laser rangefinder, or something like ESS, these things were added to particular aircraft and then expanded. You could even say stuff like SNEB rockets or something like that, where salvos of rockets. They were something new, like maybe a year ago, and then they started getting added to more stuff. I believe the first one was the French aircraft, the Barougeon, and now we have the F4U7, the AD4s have them, and also the FJ4B, I think it's called. So yeah, I think eventually, we'll see an American one, a Japanese one. I'm sure every nation at least attempted it. It would be nice to see every nation get it, if they had it realistically, but we'll have to wait in time. It's definitely a cool system. I would love to see World War I aircraft. I actually would prefer we went back in time instead of forward. I know a lot of people really like the Abrams, they really like the Challenger, the Type 90, all of these stuff, but all I can think about in the back of my head is what happens when they add in Rank 6 jets and annihilate everything. Now, luckily, at this point, they haven't done that, and I'm guessing that's the issues they're having, because Rank 6 jets would literally take over the game. There was a reason why tank combat has been kind of diminished over the years, while air supremacy has begun much more important from a strategic point of view. But anyway, so I've always been a proponent of World War I stuff, even though it would be elongated battles with jamming guns and it would be incredibly slow. For me, that sounds so much more fun in a realistic and simulator environment than Rank 6 stuff. It just does. And I understand the main reason against it is, it wouldn't really make Gaijin any money because you would research them, but there would only be not a lot of research and all of this stuff. But I still think, yes, they should be added. And eventually, if we go pie in the sky, they'll run out of Rank 6 stuff and they'll have to go backwards in time. So eventually we'll probably get them if the game lasts that long, and I'm sure it will. It's still very popular today, which is great. But yeah, I'd love to see them. It would be interesting to see the mid-30s and maybe even early 30s tanks, though. They would, a lot of them would just be blocks which couldn't pen each other, so I'm not sure that would work too well. When it comes to the 10K ideas, I don't know what to do. I've been thinking about it, and I think I've got quite a long time to think about it, so that's okay. But around me, there isn't anything really that military, and I wish there was. I really do. Because I love going to museums. The Air Museum in York is one of my favorite places on the earth. I went to the aircraft graveyard. I believe it was either in Arizona or Utah. That was really cool, just being near it and around it. And then stuff like, obviously, Bovington is great. We have a bunch of different stuff in the north of England, but around where I am right now in Canada, there's not a lot. A lot of the museums focus on different things. They mainly focus on native stuff. And for me, not being from Canada, I just don't care. I really don't care. So the only two that are interesting right now around me are, there's a Titanic museum, which sounds absolutely baller. Like, I'm gonna love that. And then there's the ancient Egyptian exhibit in Victoria, and I do want to go there at least for a few days with the wife. So those would be the two ideas if I was ever going to do something like that. But it wouldn't really fit the channel too well, but it may be an extra video to do, kind of like with the PC one. I was testing with like the PC setup one, if I could do a video like that, and it seems like I can, so, and edit it and everything, so yeah. Doing that going forward, I think we'll do more of that stuff. I think we'll also do a bunch of giveaways, tournaments, all that stuff. Try and give back once again to you guys, which is the most important thing. The Don says it's over 9,000. If you don't know who the Don is, he's a Twitch streamer / YouTuber, and he makes some cool videos, and also his Twitch streams are a bit of fun. It's worth checking him out, so if you haven't heard about him before, come to this video and just click on his link so you can see his channel. Camo Man, what are your guilty pleasures for movies and television? Oh, rom-coms, I suppose. I love Love Actually. Every year on Christmas, the family, we always watch Love Actually, and then we watch some horror movies, weirdly enough. But we'd watch that. So me and kid every Christmas sit down and watch it because it's a lovely, wholesome film. One of my favorite movies ever, which is kind of sad, or at least I'm sure a lot of you guys would be like, "What the hell?" is a film called Leap Year. And it's about this American upseller, as we call them. So somebody who makes houses look nice, so they sell for more, and so you can sell your house. She goes to Ireland, and she meets a crazy chef guy from a village, and they fall in love. And yeah, so you may look at me and be like, "What is this massive-chested, weird barrel man? And why does he care about rom-coms?" And yeah, you'd be right. It's a bit odd, isn't it? But you did ask for guilty pleasures. I love Downton Abbey. Any show about nobility from the late 19th century and the early 20th century I find fascinating. Gosford Park is a movie that I would recommend if you like that. A murder mystery with the ideas of early 20th century Britain. Stuff like based around Jack the Ripper is pretty cool. It's kind of interesting working and seeing like dramas around like serial killers and stuff. What's that called? American Horror Story. As I said, that's another one. So yeah, there's a bunch of them that I like, which are different to what you may expect. But yeah, I think rom-coms would probably throw a lot of people. And I don't mean stuff like I Love You Man or Bridesmaids, which all follow a formula. But the ones which are slightly different and a bit quirky is the ones I like. Stephen Lee, love the vids, man. Keep them up. Thank you. That's very kind. Oh, also going back to the movies and television, I do like 90s British comedy. That's great. So stuff, well, early 2000s even. So Spaced, Black Books, stuff like that are great. Lord Kiltridge, and as I said, thank you, Stephen. That's very kind. Lord Kiltridge, I just joined earlier this week, so I might be the guy who put you over the top. I tell you what, you might be. You might be the one. You never know. This is from one Mim. Few questions, my dude. Do you regret signing up and beginning to play War Thunder? No, not at all. If I didn't end up playing War Thunder, I'd be playing World of Tanks, or I would be playing some weird simulator, just because that's what I enjoy. For years I played Men of War and Company of Heroes and just Total War games in general, so I'd just be doing this, but not in War Thunder, just other games. Would you take a look at Heliborn? Yeah, I'll have a look. Not exactly sure what it is, but oops. Oh, that works too. It looks like it is a helicopter game. Who would have known? Okay, so it's some kind of helicopter simulator. Generally, I don't really care too much about helicopters over other stuff. But if its game mechanics are good and it makes sense and works well, yeah, I'll have a look. Yeah, that's interesting. Right, we have a notification. Oop. Yeah, pretty much, Zika. It sucks. But yeah, not a game I would generally pick up. It may be worth actually. How much is it on Steam? $23? $30? Ooh, not sure about that. It would have to be a bit cheaper for me to consider it. What are your thoughts on World of Tanks, Warplanes, Warships? I've only played World of Tanks out of the three. I enjoyed it when I played it. I still watch a lot of content creators who specialize in it, so people like Circon, Safosh, and even Pointy Head Jedi. I like their videos. I sometimes watch Jingle ones, but they're not really my style, I suppose. Just because the videos I really like from him are like the Mingles with Jingles, so that's not really World of Tanks related. Warplanes I've never played. I've only seen a few videos on. It looks okay, but that's it. Like, it looks like a generic arcadey plane game, and that doesn't really interest me. There's millions of them out there, so why would I play that one over others? World of Warships, and I've heard a lot of really good things about it. Never played it. I don't have time. The one thing I say about free-to-play games is you generally have space for 2 of them if you're lucky. And so I play Path of Exile and War Thunder as my free-to-play games, because generally you either have to invest money or you have to be able to grind your ass off. And if you're grinding your ass off, which is generally what I like to do, like I've never put a dime into Path of Exile. The thing is that obviously you'll be sat in a position where you have to play it for a lot. So if I don't play it a lot, then I'm not going to do really anything in it, and I'm not going to play it when it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So with World of Warships, I'm kind of in that situation as well. Like I just not really interested. I'm also not a big ship guy, so that also means that wouldn't help too much. Did you watch Girls and Panzer? If so, did you enjoy it? I have watched half an episode, and then I fell asleep. Not because of Girls and Panzer, but because I'd just come off a 36-hour work shift. So, and I was like, okay, somebody asked me to watch this, I'll try and watch it. And I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Bonk. Like, head down. And it wasn't the fault of it, and I just never got back to it. I don't know where to watch it at all. I haven't really looked either. If it's on Crunchyroll, I'll give it a go. If you have any ideas of where I can find it, please put it in the description. And I mean legally here. I don't mean illegally. So yeah, that would be nice. But what I watched of it, I'm not going to give an opinion. I do like the videos that Tiger's doing recently, though, where he's like doing anime reviews from his point of view, because the enthusiasm he brings is so good with it. And you can really tell if he likes something or he hates something, like through his voice, which is a really good thing to communicate. But yeah, he seems to have good, glowing reviews of it, so I'll have to give it a go. 3 questions. Azur Lane or Can Cole? Oh, Vin, this is not a good day for you, because I have no idea what either of those are. Azur Lane is... Oh, this is the game you showed me ages ago, isn't it? And I can't remember which one you play, so I might get eaten out here. Because you have the original one, and then you have the like westernized one. So whichever is the original, because otherwise I'm going to get chewed out. So let's see. Developers, Kadokawa, and these guys, Yongshi. I'm going for this one, Azur Lane, because I think that's the more foreign one and the one that you'd like. Generally, I do like those games, though, like the side-scrolling Annihilate things. A game called Brave Frontier is a game I used to play quite a lot because I'd have it on in the background while doing other stuff, like processing videos and stuff, but I don't know. Those types of games I should actually try and pick them up. I've been trying to do rhythm games recently, and then I realized how old I've got and how bad my reactions are, so maybe a game like that would be better for me. Doki Doki stream when? I'm not sure I'm going to stream it, but we are going to do it. I'm just trying to get people on board. Matrix is on board. I'm pretty sure I can convince Mofo. Nathan is somebody who I was thinking about doing, like, bringing him on. But basically, if we can get a bunch of people together, it will be done. And it will be done very well, and it'll be hilarious. Do you think the new flight DMs are good or bad for air, tank, and naval as a whole? So basically what you're talking about is the fact that planes pretty much get one shot now, no matter what the aircraft is. Some of them might not because they have a little bit of armor, but the majority of them just get annihilated by anything that hits them. I think overall it's bad for the game, and the reason for this is because even though it really benefits the type of playstyle I play, which is like a dart hunter, I think is the way to describe it. So what I'll do is I'll pick a vulnerable enemy, dive on them, quick burst, kill, move on, and keep doing that and that and that. And basically a lot of my playstyle is about setup when it comes to aerialistic. With that said, even though it really benefits me, it annihilates bombers, and I really like bombers. I really wish they would find a place in the game. I think with World War Mode, and stuff like Enduring Confrontation, they have a place in the game. But with these changes, it just means they get one-shot by anything. And it's getting to a point now where it's just boring to sometimes get to a base. And I understand a lot of people don't like bombers, and that's fine. But I like the idea of combined forces. I don't just want fighters versus fighters, and medium tanks versus medium tanks, and destroyers versus destroyers. I like the idea of variety, otherwise the game gets incredibly boring around metas, just like we see with every other game, and even War Thunder now, with like the top tier Germans, or the mid-tier Americans or Russians, and the lower tier Russians / Germans. Like it just gets boring if you just play the same stuff over and over again. So, yeah, I think overall a lot of people are happy with it because it's more realistic. From that point of view, I'm happy with it, but it is so debilitating on gameplay because it just means that a lot of vehicles now are just unusable. Like, they're just completely pointless. Absolutely pointless, and you can't do anything. Marky Sang, congrats Anthony, thank you, that's very kind of you. And Toshio, good old Toshio. Question, which one of your videos is your favourite? Which do you like the least? And do you watch your old videos for nostalgia / review? The only time I will ever have a look at a video on the channel is if I am not sure if I've covered a topic or not. And that does happen from time to time, so I have to make sure. Let's just see if it's still here. Merry Christmas. Let's see. I may have got rid of it, you know. There was a... yeah, I don't think it's here. But there was a video I did at Christmas where I covered It's Christmas Eve, but I did both of the voices, and it sounded absolutely abysmal. So, yeah, that's probably gone. I really enjoyed playing Company of Heroes back in the day. But yeah, that's the one I like the least, and if I've got rid of it, then it's one of the only videos I've got rid of. Which one of your videos is your favourite? That's hard to do, because there's so many of them, but I think the ones that I really like is when I talked about paratroopers, because that was me just going in depth into how I saw a game mechanic actually work in War Thunder, and generally a lot of the time I'm commenting on other stuff that people have created, such as Gaijin themselves or something like that. But when it comes to me explaining ideas, I think that's really enjoyable. So yeah, probably the paratrooper ones, if I was going to say it. And to show once again, you're welcome, Anthony. Keep being a YouTube treasure. You too. You keep it up, because I do really enjoy your stuff, and I hope you keep going. It is fun to watch. It's very, it's hard to say, but there are some YouTubers out there that I do spend time watching, and you are one of them. Red Fang is another one that I watch. Mags, when he does War Thunder stuff. So yeah, thank you for making your videos too. Dalmar23, is there any chance of more material regarding World War Mode? So far it's behind work in progress, but I would very much like to see as it's going at the moment. I would agree. I should actually do that, some more videos on it. There has been some changes to it over time, but the general ideas are still the same. I should do some more in-depth videos on it, but to be honest, I need to see a community belief in it. Because one of the issues I have with ships as well is that when I look at the community, I don't see a belief. I see a bunch of people asking for changes instead of enjoying it. So yeah, that's a problem with it when it comes to it. So yeah, the interest has to be shown, and I think there is interest there. I'm personally interested in it, so we'll see. It might be worth having a look at. I have been given full shtick to, cover whatever I want in it. Like, nothing's off guard, so that's good. It might be worth giving it a go. Do I have any pets? Anthony Santillo, yes, I do. I have a cat. He's called Bernard, and he's black. He's a black cat, and he's a really nice cat. It's a bit warm here right now. It's been 32, 33 degrees the last few days, so he's been hiding a lot, and also next to the fan. But if you want to see more pictures of the wonderful Bernard, then you can go to my Instagram. As you can see, I I do one post a day, and the wife does the tags. So this is Bernard sleeping. He's a cute little cat. And then we have the PC pictures, a few pictures of my wife, an anime picture of me. There's Bernard again sleeping. And then, there's some of my models, which I'll probably do videos on. But yeah, there's Bernard outside, Bernard sleeping again, Kit looking worried. So yeah, I do, and then we found another cat. This was a guy who was outside. He didn't get on with Bernard though. This is probably the best picture of Bernard. There you go. That's what he looks like. But yeah, there was another cat which was just hanging outside, so we brought him in. He was really nice, and then he saw Bernard and took a bit of a hissy, so we had to chuck him out. But yeah, and that's it. So if you want to see more pictures of Bernard, just go to my Instagram. Irius Pilot 09 Gaming. Do you think they would add battleships to the game ever? And what do you think of Battleship South Dakota BB-57? It all depends on public belief. If the public wants it, they'll probably add it eventually. We've seen how much effort it takes to create destroyers and light cruisers, so I wouldn't think about it's going to happen very soon. What they seem to be more bothered about right now is making sure to get all the nations in. This ship itself, I mean, it looks like your generic battleship. It'll just annihilate everything everywhere, and that's the issue I have with battleships. Same issue I have right now with like cruisers and destroyers. Right now, the meta of naval forces is whoever has more guns, and or if you're not paying attention, you get hit by a torpedo, or if an aircraft gets incredibly lucky and gets anywhere near you, then you might die. But it's basically whoever gets the first shot and whoever's accurate enough. And with battleships, that's just that times 20, and I'm just not interested. I don't like going into a battle and thinking, well, there's nothing I can do here because the enemy I know has more guns, and whoever fires first is probably going to win. That is boring to me. There's no outplay. Like, if I'm in a light tank, I can outplay a medium or a heavy. If I'm in a bomber, I at least have an objective to bomb bases and maybe get a kill. If I'm in a fighter, I can outplay other fighters, attackers, and bombers. But in a destroyer, it doesn't feel like I can. It just feels like I'm just shooting and hopefully hitting. Battleships will be exactly the same. They would literally also have no counter, because they would annihilate aircraft on sight, they would annihilate PT boats on sight, they would annihilate everything on sight, and because a lot of the ships are more in open water, you're not going to get torpedoes anywhere near them, and also the torpedoes won't sink them in one hit, so I do not like the idea of battleships. I've also said in the past and still believe that destroyers and light cruisers are also an issue, because it's just whoever has the more guns, and it's just going to keep happening, and it's going to get really boring really, really fast, because everybody's just going to play the ship which has the most guns, and that's it. If you play anything else, you're screwed. The Bullet 2001, keep up the great work, TEC, love the videos, thank you, that's very kind of you. Marine Tech. So, what part of Canada are you in? Congrats on the 9K, I'm in BC right now. The LP905, fan 2 DE1-A. Every time I see your name, it seems to have other stuff added to it. By the way, already 9,000. Whoa, that goes fast. Congratulations. Thank you. My question, do you have childs or plan to get/make some? I think in the future, yes. It would be nice to have some children. Right now, no. Right now, it is setting up the base foundation for the rest of my life. So I have a very hard-working job, working towards housing, working towards different cars, working towards investments, all the really boring adult stuff you have to do. But once the concrete is set, I believe yes, children will be in the picture. And it will be interesting to see if, while they grow up, I can get them interested into World War II and history and all of that. And then when they graduate to my level and they've read a lot about the vehicles and the general politics, and then they can go deeper into stuff, I think it would be really cool. But yeah, one day. I have some nieces and nephews, and they're all really cute, and I just actually Skyped their mother today, my sister, and they're all doing great, and it just makes me really happy, To see smiles from the family is awesome, and it would be nice to see some little smiles eventually in my neck of the woods. Visky252, hey bud, with 3 questions, or 3 points. Nice meme, Woolly Mammoth Man, thank you. I am actually going to get my hair cut pretty soon, so, it'll be interesting. What is the biggest mistake that Gaijin has ever done? I believe it's either update 1.43 or update 1.47. Let's see, because I know for a fact I made a video on it. I think camel would work. Yep, this one, whatever this one was. It was in, September 5th, 2014, and I didn't put, oh yeah, I did, here we go. So this was the patch that broke bombers, where you could just dive them into the ground and get ridiculous amounts of RP. It also made guns not do anything. It also broke collision models. It broke a ton of stuff when it came to the general game. I also think there was an issue with winning matches. So yeah, in update 1.41.30.24, yeah, there was a few issues, we'll just say that. And luckily they hot fixed it incredibly quickly. So let's see how long it took them. Yeah, it took them it didn't take them that long. As you can see, fixed damage calculations of the 15, 20, and 30, the guns weren't doing anything to anything. And then the B-17s you couldn't kill, and this was before they actually limited them to 4 a match, so they were just running over everything. At the same time, the phantom explosions and tanks that were appearing in front of the player have been removed. Oh my god. It was just, this was the most buggy patch you've ever seen. And when people say, oh, why is this fence stopping my rank 6 MBT? I always just think about this update and think, just don't worry. It's not game breaking, just machine gun the fence. Whereas in here, this was completely game breaking. It actually kind of broke the game. So yeah, that's what I always go back to. Who is your favorite actor in a movie? P.S. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you, Visky. Keep doing what you're doing. You're always entertaining. And hopefully you're taking part in the tournament. It would be nice to see you there. My favorite actor is always a rough one. Because I prefer characters instead of the actors, so I would have to pick like a favorite character. And probably the guy, Shutter Island. You may have not watched it. It's a film with Leonardo DiCaprio. And obviously there's a big twist in it and all of this. And I'm not going to go into it. But yeah, that was a really good film. So I'd probably say Leonardo DiCaprio. He's also done, Django, he was really good in. Catch Me If You Can's a classic. There's a ton of films that he's done, so probably good old Leonardo. Delarue? Wait, what's going on here? Why is it showing me the same one? Delarue68. Hey mate, you're seriously on a roll, that's very kind of you. Not surprised the way you run your content, etc., as I've said before. No questions, just praise. Cheers. Thank you, Delarue. That's very kind of you. And yeah, try and pump it out and be as factual as possible. That's pretty much what I do. Oh boy. Here we go. So the first very long form question. This is from Asif Talpur. Alright, TEC, I have some for you. With the depth of your knowledge, why don't you do regular old videos on mid-tier tanks/planes? I understand research and new videos eat a lot of your time, but would you consider a good old tank review once a week on tanks/planes that you consider are quirky or that excite you? Secondly, gameplay videos and streaming. I saw you testing out the blowout panels on the XM1 and other new tanks, and I found you to be pretty calm and collected. Would you consider doing live gameplay? The thing about live gameplay is the fact that I don't really talk that much. When I'm playing War Thunder especially, I'm concentrating all the time, and if I don't, then I'll get killed very quickly. And whenever I've done like live streaming, I have enjoyed it, and now with the new PC, I think we'll see more of it. The only issue now is time, because whenever I am not playing, whenever I'm doing a live stream, I'm not recording. So less YouTube videos, more Twitch stuff. So it's kind of is it better to do that or is it better to do that? And over the last few months or so, I've been contemplating with this idea. But now with the new PC, I think what I'm going to do is use being able to stream a bit more without my computer killing itself as an excuse to do a bit more of it. When it comes to old reviews, you are completely right. I need to do more of them. And I just need to do more reviews in general. I have been way too focused on the news stuff, and I understand a lot of people come here for that. But when it comes to the news stuff and giving opinion, it is good to do, but it can get very bogged downy, especially when stuff is happening literally every day. So it may be worth either devoting more time to the classic old reviews, which I'd love to do, and less time on the newsy stuff and the research, and I think that would be fine. I could do that. I just have to make a list, and I can do that. Moreover, drop in more sciencey stuff in your videos, like that one you did in your Hurry Production gameplay video. I like that a lot. Science intrigued me a lot back when I was watching Mythbusters and other Discovery shows, but choose a different path in terms of my career. But it's always nice to get some science nuggets while watching your favourite YouTubers. I will do. I actually have a series which is going to be based around science, which I have been working on. And it's more produced than the other stuff. All the ideas are written down, all the audio is done. Right now I'm doing all of the editing for it, so look forward to that. But I think maybe showing quirky, weird things, like the ball that I did last time, I think would be the best way to approach that. Like, maybe I go to random thrift stores and pick up some weird and wonderful things and then explain how they work, and from a science point of view, I think people would love that. Like stuff like endothermic and exothermic reactions when it comes to, you know how you have like heating pads? Like in cricket, people keep them in their pants to keep their hands warm while they're catching, so if the ball hits them, they don't break their fingers. I think that would be kind of cool to explain how they work and all of that, with the idea of an equilibrium reaction and also, as I said, basic endothermic, exothermic reactions. So yeah, I'll definitely do more of that. It's just kind of coming up with ideas. Additionally, as a free-to-play player who has to choose between spending money on food rather than pixels, fair enough, props to the guys who spend on the game and basically fund the game for those who can't. Yeah, thank you to you guys. What is your advice on Silver Lions? Playing Germany has been a pain to begin with, and now with 10k repair bills coupled with permanent turret ammunition, I haven't touched any of my King Tigers in a well over 2 months or so, and I don't intend to. How should I make money in this game? I have the mouse unlocked and I can't purchase and crew it. What other nation would you suggest for me to play so I can get out of the frustration cycle of playing the Germans while having a dignified SL balance? The only way, effectively, as a free-to-play player, to make Silver Lions is an aircraft. Air realistic being the one. Playing rank 2, rank 3, and just grinding it out through there. That's I basically got a stockpile before tanks came out of about 20 million, and that was just from playing rank 2 and 3, British and American and German, air realistic, making a bunch of money, and even to this day I can still do that. and I was free to play for like 3 years, so that's how I did it. The way to do it in tanks is a little bit more tricky because obviously you earn less per thing. But the thing is, as you play newer nations, you should do better in the games because you're against less experienced people, and also you will, over time, especially in the low ranks as a free-to-play player, earn more silver lines than you will spend on the vehicles that you are researching. So you will make more silver lines as you go along and also play new vehicles, which is always nice. If you want a nation to play, America, because America general stock shells are pretty good, so you don't have to pay for upgraded shells. The repair costs aren't that bad. Britain is okay until about rank 4 for that stuff, even parts of rank 3, but Russia is easily the best. Russia's stock shells are the best, their repair costs are a lot lower, there are also tanks which are generally good at pretty much everything, and yeah, that's what I would say. So if you're looking at another nation, Russia is probably the best one to go for silver lines. But if you're okay with aircraft is the way to go for that stuff. Lastly, I'd like to ask about the future plans of your channel, goals, and where do you see your channel and War Thunder in general going forward. For the channel, I don't really have any goals, which is sad to say. I think the 10k thing is pretty cool to aim at. I haven't been working on it that hard, unfortunately, actual work, because there's no way I make enough money on YouTube to ever make this sustainable unless my view counts hit like 5 times what they do. With that said, I obviously have a real job. I have a family to look after. I have to make money, and therefore I can't invest everything that I would want to in the channel itself. I would like to go back to some old style content, such as you talked about before, reviews, and also talk more about ideas instead of getting bogged down in the news, actually talking about ways of improving the game again, because I think that's where it's interesting to me. Goals in general, I mean, if we're talking about, where do I see this channel? Let's say like in a year time. I would guess probably around 11,000, 12,000 subscribers. Probably doing the same thing. I probably will have changed the thumbnail design again because I'll get bored of it. Editing audio is something, because I know you may not be thinking about it, but whenever I am editing video, something I'm very cognizant of is my breathing, because I have quite big lungs, I breathe, quite heavy, so it always comes through the microphone. And with that said, there is easy ways of negating it. It's either, breathing differently, which I struggle to do, or cutting it out of the audio. So that is probably something I will improve. Another thing is getting community events more streamlined. Right now we have community events like giveaways and tournaments, but I feel like there's much more we can do, like competitions, like screenshot competitions, even stuff like t-shirt competitions or something like that. What if I say like, okay, give me a design, and what I'll do is whoever the winner is, I'll print you 5 t-shirts with that design, send them to you, something like that, I think that would be kind of cool. Instead of just selling t-shirts, actually doing it like that. When it comes to other content, it would be nice to talk about some other World War II games, get back to stuff like Company Heroes and Men of War, which all I have to do is spend some time dedicating to it, so it won't be that hard. But it's something I have to do. When it comes to War Thunder, right now what I see is that in a year's time, Naval will be close to coming out. Nobody will still play it because it's whoever has the bigger guns, and it will be pretty much dead on arrival, which is very sad. But I look at the view counts for the videos for Naval, I look at the general interest, and it seems like nobody's really interested. So that's a real shame. So the main thing that I'll be focused on is like rank 6 jets, and also hopefully World War mode. That is a hope. What I actually think will happen is more rank 6 tanks, which I don't care about. It's as simple as that, and I wouldn't say it's an unfortunate thing for me, but it does mean I get to focus on other areas. I'm never going to cover stuff that I don't enjoy covering when it comes to actual gameplay. I hope we get the IS-7. I hope that we get some more cool events, because I think the events have been really good this year. So yeah, hopefully that's what we see from it. Thanks for all the content. Had I not hated the type of content Tiger Frost did, I would have found you a hell of a lot earlier and enjoyed the KPZ MBT days because you bring a lot and add a lot of quality to your work. That fraud who just reads off the website and adds holy fucking shit guys when necessary. Thanks for showing everyone how it's done. You're a solid guy, keep it up, and on to 10k. Well, that's very kind of you, Asif. But me and Tiger definitely have different ways of approaching things. He is a lot more enthusiastic and a lot more balls to the wall with stuff, which I think is definitely needed in the community, whereas I'm more of a, right, I'm going to sit down and think about this for like half an hour or an hour and then get everything together and then, put it all together. It's two separate ideas, and they're both as valid as the other. Balta, which is interesting. What was the reply to that, actually? Oh, there we go. Hey, TEC. What do you think about Gaijin's way of advertising the game? I rarely see any War Thunder ads. Most of what I saw are always World of Tanks ads, even when watching War Thunder videos. I've seen that too, actually. A lot of World of Tanks ads. But then again, maybe if you watch a lot of World of Tanks videos, they'll have War Thunder ads on, I don't know. When it comes to marketing, I'm not really into that kind of thing at all. The closest that I've kind of got involved with it was when Scottish Koala made his video, and I thought he made some points which were, well, they needed more info on them, I think is the way to put it. They weren't wrong, but they just were not explained. And then when Mags made the video about it, then it was much easier to understand from the layman's point of view what was actually going on with War Thunder and the mistakes that Koala had made. With that said, I'm just not interested in that world. I'm not interested in advertising. I'm interested in playing the game. But if I was to say what should they do, I don't know. Here's the thing they could do. You know how the Chieftain or the Tanks guy, he does like museum tours of specific machines? I think War Thunder should do that, but with their own twist, obviously. I think that even like straight up copying the idea, I think they'd get a lot of flack for it, but I think it would still be cool. And they could do it with aircraft, right? Or ships, because that's different. What do you personally think about the future of the game in the next 3 years? I have the feeling that they are trying to push the pay-to-win meta instead of pay-to-grind. That will ruin the game for sure. If they do that, I'll stop playing it. No doubt about it. I'll just give it up, because I've seen many games go down that route, and I'm not okay with it. And there's a reason why I don't play any of those games. It is nice that War Thunder is still doing the the pay-to-grind stuff. I'm not enthused by stuff like the XM1 and the BF109Z, because the XM1, you shouldn't be able just to buy straight into rank 6. I think that's a terrible, terrible thing to do. Even if you are trying to incentivize Xbox players, there are better ways of doing it. And then with the BF109Z, I don't like unhistorical stuff, and the whole point of unhistorical stuff in the past was that they would fill gaps. Well, the BF109Z doesn't. It doesn't fill any gaps, so why is it here? But if they continue down the road of stuff like the XM1 and that type, I won't really care if it comes to rank 6 tanks, because I don't really care too much about rank 6 tanks. But if they start doing it for other tiers like rank 4 aircraft and tanks and rank 3, I will be extremely annoyed and we'll just leave the game. Hey dude, congrats on the 9k. Why did you start making YouTube videos on YouTube? What/who was your influence? Red Fang, like Toshio, is another War Thunder content creator who makes really solid stuff. So if you want to check him out, please do. It's definitely worth it. He has his own Discord server as well, so it's probably easily the best way of getting a hold of him generally. So, the reason why I started making YouTube videos is it was either in the second or third year of university, I think my third year. I had literally no time for anything. When I finished university, I had a double major in analytical chemistry and theoretical physics, and because of that, I was doing so much work and I was just burnt out. And whenever I did have free time, it wasn't enough time to go out to a club, or it wasn't enough time to watch a movie. It wasn't enough time to really do anything, for me. When it comes to actually going out and doing stuff. So I started watching stuff on YouTube and I obviously played some games with some mates, and I was like, you know what? I need a break from studying. I need a break from the university toil, because in the third year, I nearly gave up university. I was like, screw this. Like, it's annihilating my mentality. It's making me a very negative person. And the person who brought me back from that was my dad. So my dad literally said, why don't you just bloody do it? Get it done. Screw everyone. Get it done. Do it for yourself. Don't give a rat's ass. Just do it. Get it done. You know you want to. So I was like, yep, you're right. So I did it. But it was a horrible last 2 years at university. And I feel like now I know what it can be like for people who struggle when they're trying to do something and trying to do it for like years on end. So, but anyway, yeah, YouTube was kind of an escape from that, to be honest. It was a way that I could sit down, forget about chemistry, forget about physics, forget about the future, all of that, and just go, hey, I'm going to talk about something I like. And it's going to be history, it's going to be reading Sherlock Holmes, it's going to be reading Mark Twain, it's going to be looking at War Thunder, it's going to be all these cool, interesting things that I actually care about, instead of this thing over here that I absolutely hate, but I have to do. So yeah, that's pretty much why I got into it. What and who was your influencer? Well, there was a bunch of people I watched. I used to like and still do. I just don't watch them that much. People like Heir of Carthage, Prince of Macedon, Circon, Pointy Hair, and Sephosh, like I said before. I never really watched any War Thunder YouTubers back then. I watched a bit of the Mighty Jingles, but not a lot. Rooster Teeth was always fun. A co-optional podcast, but back then it was called, I think, either the Game Station Podcast or something like that. But overall, most of it, Total Biscuit as well, because I really enjoyed his reviews of stuff. He was like one of my main sources for going to see games, and it's very sad to hear of his passing. And I don't know, he was just a great guy. But when it comes to influence, I mean, I don't know. I just talk at the screen. I don't know. I don't think many. I think definitely some of them would have influenced me to give it a go. But I think at the end of the day, the influence came from a necessity to escape, and now it's more of a I do this because I enjoy it kind of thing. Matthias Gaming, hello again. I have a few questions. Oh dear, he has 10 of them. Would it be possible to send in replays, recorded videos to you when you do a review of something else you might need footage for? Yeah, you can. What you do is there's an email in all of the descriptions of at least my War Thunder videos where it says send replays here. You just chuck them there. I record all of them, and I have a folder of about 80 gigs worth of stuff. So yeah, I will eventually get around to all that. But yeah, you can. There's a link in the description of all the War Thunder videos. Are we going to see more reviews of the more obscure or lesser known vehicles, tanks in your reviews, i.e. Brumbar or T-54-49? Personally, I find it a bit boring to see the same reviews of the same mainstream new tanks over and over again. This goes into the point we talked about before with the other lad. Yes, I am going to do more older reviews. Not sure focusing on the weird stuff. I'm sure some of them will be weird, but the majority will just be stuff I enjoy flying, which isn't always meta. Actually, most of the time it isn't meta. After finishing the tutorial series, would you then consider making a series where you start a new account without premium, where you grind for a tier 5 or 6, gives the new players an understanding of how the grind is? The issue with doing that is it's against terms of service. You're not allowed to have multiple accounts, so if that happens and Gaijin turn around and be like, why are you promoting this? I'll get my account banned, and obviously I don't want that to happen, and it's against the rules, and I like to keep in the rules. The grind is pretty bad. It's incredibly bad, actually, for new players, so I would not like to be in their position, right? Also, a series like that would literally take up a lot of my life when it comes to War Thunder, so not sure I'd enjoy that. I'd also have to remember 2 passwords, which is a pain. Would it be possible to throw/give you money? I was thinking about a Patreon thing, and it would be mainly to run the Discord server giveaways and also the tournament, so we could use that as a pool to pay for, pay for giveaways and tournament, Golden Eagles and stuff like that. Maybe that's something that's in the works, right? I don't know how many people would be interested. It would just be for the community, though. Everything that's put into it would be put towards the community, so it wouldn't be me taking money out of it for my own gain, because I'm okay financially. I'm in a very good position. I've worked incredibly hard to get here. So yeah, that's what it would be for. How can I join your Discord? I cannot do anything whenever I try to join. So the way it works right now on the TEC hub is when you join, you have to wait like a minute for the bot to give you a role, and it gives you the general occupant role. Then you can see everything. So if you snap onto the Discord and you're like, oh, there's nothing here, and then snap off of it, then what will happen is you won't wait long enough for the bot to give you a role so you can see everything and you can have a chat with everyone. The reason we put this in is to stop people who just want to join the Discord just to spam a bunch of stuff and leave. Because when I was away for a day or 2 days, 3 guys joined the Discord and just decided that they were just going to spam everything and anything everywhere they wanted. So the mod team asked me and the other admins, would it be worth adding in a bot which did this thing so we could streamline everything for them, because obviously there's more than 650 people on the server now, and also it would be better for the what would be the word? It would get rid of that issue. So we had a vote on it, we accepted it, and that's what we do going forward. So yeah, all you have to do is wait 1 or 2 minutes, and then the bot will give you a role if a moderator doesn't, and you'll be able to see everything. Could we see more separate videos that does not involve War Thunder? I'm trying. I mean, it's hard to do, because I want to try and do 1 War Thunder video a day. But yes, they will come back, especially stuff like Men of War and Company of Heroes, because I love those games. What do you think of the update? I generally think it's good. There's a lot of stuff in it I just don't care about, like the rank 6 stuff. All the other vehicles that I've tried, I like the style of the IR-81, even though a lot of people don't. All the additions have been good. I do personally like the Italy map, even though it seems like a lot of people don't. I think it's good, and it offers a lot of solutions. Like, if a meta does develop, like the meta right now seems to be going down that top corridor, you can easily counter that by just going south on the middle, and then undercut them. So it's a map which has a lot of options, and means that the meta is flexible, and I'm happy with that. So overall, a good update. Could we see you having a Q&A with a War Thunder developer? I'm many miles away, since I presume you're part of the War Thunder Content Creator Club group. Yes, I am. Did he have one with the developer? Or was it with a community manager? Because I remember the one with the community manager, and I actually have a mate who's called, Should I give away his name, or do I want to keep it secret? But yeah, he's basically a GM in the game, and I'm going to have him on for a War Thunder talk about what it's like being a GM, what they have to deal with, their general opinions on the game, how they got involved, all of this stuff. So that will be coming at some point. He's just a little bit busy with, his, personal stuff, with his family. And to be honest, I've been busy putting in floors. So yeah, 9. Is the mouse your favorite tank? If not, what is? Please explain why. The mouse is pretty cool. I still don't have parts on it yet because I use it as a secondary to the Leopard. The one that I've been enjoying the most right now, when it comes to tanks, is either the TV, because for some reason I've been playing it a lot, and also I've been playing a lot of the BMP-1. And just because it's a scout, I really like the scouting mechanics. The ATGM is annoying as hell though, but I have been enjoying it. I like the gun on it. I like the auto-loading mechanism. It doesn't have a ton going for it in armor, or sometimes the gun doesn't do anything. But recently, yeah, I've been enjoying it, and it's good with the T-54 and the IS-4M, or the IS-3 if you want to run it with that, and the T-44-100. But 7.7 is better because you can run it with... Ooh, can you? They may have changed it. But you could at least used to run it with the Act-23, which was always really fun. You still remember me spamming KV85 review? Yeah, I do. I also remember the guy who was constantly asking me to play Command & Conquer. The early ones. Yeah, I remember everyone, Matthias. Well, not everyone. There are a few people I don't, but if you keep saying the same things over and over again, I'll remember you. Cuke799 says, I'm not sure if this is a one per person Q&A, but I'll ask 2 questions anyway. Oh my. What short name can we call you on the Discord and YouTube comments, because the European Canadian is too long of a name to address you. Also, it just feels weird addressing someone with a long-ass name, beginning with the. People call me TEC, so T-E-K, so TEC, like people like Rocker and Vinter call me TEC. I'm fine with TEC. TEC sounds fine. You may also hear people refer to me as Boom, B-O-O-M, so TEC or Boom, I will respond to, and they're easy to say, like they're one syllable, so yeah, that's the way to go. Second question is, what's your role in the field of science? I don't generally like going into specifics, but right now, over the summer, I'll just say I'm in the research field. I'm in the research field of chemistry. I'll say that. So that's what I do. I was wondering, what is your favorite tank and or plane? This is from A10. The Hurricane is my favorite plane, in-game and out of game. And tank is always a tough one, and it's kind of hard to think about. I've been tossing and turning with the ideas over the years of what is my personal favorite tank, and I have literally no idea. I'm sorry, I find it very hard to pin down one singular tank, but let's go like, it's gonna be something nippy, so like, something like the Chaffee, or, I suppose the Pershing's kind of cool in history. It's awful in game though. The Tiger 2 is really good in game, awful in history. T-34-85 is good in game, pretty good in history. I don't know. I'm not sure. Generally, I'll say something like the Covenanter or the Cavalier, so I'll just say that. Buffalo YouTube, are you going to play Gaijin's new Battle Royale game? The Cuisine Royale, I gave it a go. The issue for me right now was that the FPS wasn't very good, and also it was another reminder that I'm awful at that type of game. So I played it for a little bit. The latency for me personally is not good either, being at over 100 ping on a Twitch shooter is not good. That's not where you want to be. So yeah, without the stable frame rates and also the good ping, it's pretty much a no right now. I do find it really entertaining to watch, though, to see how people do it. It would be interesting to do tournaments on it later on, if they ever get like a replay system. Shorty Gaming, have you ever considered or heard about the game Drone? If you have, would you ever make videos on it? Well, let's just see what it is. I'm guessing I have to put in game. Drone the game. Alright, so it's a crowd-funded game. Peter Robble, I think. Where's the crowdfund? Oh, is it on the website? Yeah, let's see. They have 57,000 pledged. Ooh, it's looking good. I don't know how long it's been on, but I don't know a lot about this at all. It looks kind of interesting, though. Let's see what the announcement trailer's about. Enjoy your free advertising. Oh, it's Jif peanut butter. Don't bother with Jif peanut butter. What is the better peanut butter is every other damn peanut butter. For Jif, to me, just tastes like sugar for some reason. I don't know how much sugar's in it, but it's not good. Okay, it looks like Mass Effect right now. Oh boy. Wait, let's go back. So you build your drones, right? So it's kind of like cross out in that way. You create environments. What? You create arenas. So you terraform. You set... Okay, so this is literally a sandbox game where you can do anything. Holy hell. You vote for which ones you want to see. Right, so basically what they're doing is building an engine with, impossible possibilities and saying, hey, go build. That is really cool, and hopefully people take it. If this actually comes off, I will be incredibly surprised. But if it does, because right now it looks like incredibly pie in the sky to what I'm looking at, it looks very much like the ideas behind Star Citizen, where it's like, oh, that's really cool, but I need to see you actually do it. And that's basically what I'm getting out of this right now. But it's still pretty cool. I'm interested. Thank you for that, Shorty. I'll keep up to date with that. Jammy Turtle, UK or Canada, which is better? For jobs, Canada. For culture, UK, I would probably go for. That's pretty much how I normally categorize it. Why are you the best YouTuber? Not counting Tiger Frost or all the War Thunder community. No, really, I'm serious. I think there are much better people than me. All I do is sit here and talk. Some people have flashy effects and actually, properly write scripts and stuff. All I do is chat to you guys. So that's very nice for the compliment, but I don't know. I find it hard to take it. I really do. But that's all of the questions for the actual video. For the 9K subscriber, thank you. We are 1 hour 17 in. And wait, who? I just want to make sure I got your name. Jenna Reuter. There you go. Thank you for that question. And right, so we're 1 minute 18 in. That means that we go over here and make sure that all of this is ready. So, we are going to the Q&A for TEC, which is where you ask questions. It's always best to ping me in that. And as you can see, 24 people have pinged me. I'm sure there are many more questions than that. And yes, I am drinking a lot. It's been 1 hour 17 and it's about 20 degrees outside right now. It's very, very warm. Right. Oh my god, I'm going to have to scroll. Here we go. Oh, I need to find where I actually posted it. Oh my god. No, these were from today. Let's see. I must find it somewhere. Where you at? Nope. This is all the stuff that I have answered. Oh, here we go. Right, so we start off with a mod. This is Band of Scrubs Lobsterman 34. He recently got laid, by the way. So whenever you talk to Lobster, what I'd like you to say to him is congratulations on getting laid. Why the heck would you film in 9K? Do they even make 9K monitors? You edited it, and you still spelt monitors wrong. You pleb. I have a moderation team that can't spell monitors. Can you imagine my face in something like 9K? That's not something you want to see. You'd realise that I have so many craters I might as well be the moon. Rocker says, you are at 9.4K now. What took so long? Me not making a lot of videos, I think is probably what it was. Let's just do that. There we go. And you will close as well. Wonderful. Nope. Perfect. I should be... Oh, what took me so long for the Q&A? Too busy, man. These Q&As take bloody hours, as shown by this, so I will try and keep on top of it for the next one, because obviously the 10K is the big one. How far do you think Gaijin will go on with adding modern vehicles? Well, they've at least got to go T72, at least. And then people will ask for the M1A2, and then people will ask for the Leopard 2A7, and then I can actually see them going full modern at this point. So, yeah, I think they'll go to the boundaries eventually. I think that's definitely what they'll do. Do you think they're going to be adding more AFVs and War Thunder? I hope so. I really do. By the way, I'm sorry for not reading out the names here. So that was from Just the Guy 1250 about the modern vehicles, and then Alien says, do you think they're going to be adding more AFVs to War Thunder? When it comes to that, it's an interesting idea, but the issue is that why do I take an AFV over an MBT? The only reason would be some kind of addition to it that would make me want to use a mechanic over what an MBT has. And the only one would be something like scouting, or would be some airstrike mechanic, or if you took away airstrike or artillery from MBTs and only gave them to AFVs, or maybe you gave them some kind of radar thing. Like, there is a lot of opportunities there, but if they just stick them in, why would I? Who plays the Baguette Panzer? Who plays the AMX-13 Hot? Not many people, and that's because the MBTs are just a better choice. They fit better in the game. But yeah, I think if they can come up or use pre-existing mechanics, AFVs would be nice. I'm a Squid too, says, what do you think of forward swept wings? I think they're pretty weird to look at, but I think they're definitely an interesting design. It's kind of odd how they went out of fashion, but I suppose once a norm becomes a norm, kind of like putting the engine in the front of an aircraft, and then putting it in the back, and then all the jet norms and stuff, it does look a bit odd to look at, but I think it's kind of an interesting idea. It makes vehicles unique, which is always good. 007, will the British tree ever seem balanced at high ranks with other nations? No, and the reason for this is because of doctrinal differences. A lot of other nations see their armoured forces to be either aggressive and offensive in general, or at least in balanced ground. So if you look at the Leopard 2s, the Abrams, even the Type 90s, all of these tanks are incredibly similar on what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to be designed for either aggressive or tactical warfare in an aggressive or defensive stance. With the British, they are much more defensive-minded in their doctrine, and this has been something which has been incredibly similar even from World War II and before that, when they were deciding which doctrine they wanted to go for. So with that said, the game doesn't fit that. The game's meta is aggressive, fast, big gunned, big penetration tanks, and the British just don't do that. I mean, we make good penetrators at distance, but we don't make the speed. We don't make the lighter armor. Our doctrine is just mainly designed to be counterintuitive to how you play War Thunder, so that is the issue with it. Classified 117 says, how do you think the best way to implement helicopters is, since they went awfully quiet about them? Well, you can't really, can you? You can't put them in air realistic, because first of all, people complain. Second of all, where do you spawn them, for a start? And they're awful against aircraft. So you're out of luck when it comes to air battles, unless you completely change how air battles work. And I don't think they'd change that for helicopters. So you're limited to ground. And with the radar-guided AA, helicopters ain't getting anywhere near anything. Unless they have mouse-guided missiles that you can fire from like 5k away. Then they take over the game when they're released. So there is a feast or famine idea with helicopters here, where they're either going to be really good or they're going to be really useless, and that is why I'm personally worried about them. But overall, I think the best way to implement them would be only used in ground forces, probably realistic and simulator, and with the same mechanics that ATGMs have with their missiles, and also make them cheaper than aircraft to give them at least a point, and maybe give them a new mechanic, such as either flares or maybe something like radar, so they would actually be useful instead of just taking an aircraft over them. Thinky, do you pray to our Lord and Saviour, the P-40 Warhawk, every night? No, I pray to Satan. That is a joke, by the way. Ikafu, will we be seeing some more wheeled vehicles, specifically ones that are more like tank destroyers, like the Stryker MGS, AMX-10RC, LAV, literally anything wheeled that fits the bracket up until 1980s? I would love to see them. I would adore to see them. There are many wheeled vehicles out there. Now that they've actually properly done the wheeled mechanics, there's still a few issues with the damage models, but the success of stuff like the Pumas, the Daimlers, the ACs, the Greyhound, there is no reason not to add more in. I don't know if they take more developing time or something like that, or because they're all lightly armored, they're kind of susceptible to some core mechanics, such as HE shells or artillery shells. Maybe that would be the only reason not to add them, but I think they should. I think it would give a different role on the battlefield, and I always like the idea of more scouts. The only issue with it is balancing it across the nations, which can be something hard to do. You have to make sure every nation has everything, every nation has at least one of the thing around the BR to keep it balanced. Vintasol says, how do you feel about not being able to see decals like the Nvidia decal because of them being filtered as fictional? I'm fine with it. It's nice that they've given the option. I don't want to personally see anime decals all over tanks, and I think giving the choice to the user is always the better idea, instead of the company making the choice for them when it comes to customizable stuff. That's why I think War Thunder is one of the best games for that. It's got user skins that, anyone can create. It's got a ton of different decals. It's got a ton of different variations when it comes to decorations and stuff, and also you can make it so you don't have to see them. I think that's perfect. It means that the systems themselves are still personal, but also that they don't affect other players if they don't want them to. Tony the Spetsnaz says, when will the Italian ground forces come out, do you think? I wished this year, but the way it's looking like, especially with stuff like the two Russian ships with the T-34 turrets getting added to the game, it's looking like it won't be this year. I really hope I'm wrong, though. I would love to see them this year. I'm looking way more forward to Italian ground forces, even though I have no idea how they're going to fill the rank 3-4 gap. and even sometimes the rank 5. But I literally think the rank 3, 4, 5 gap is going to literally just be German and American tanks. But with it maybe a few like the Semavente 90 getting into rank 3. But overall, I would like to see them this year. But if I'm being if I look at what they've been talking about and where they're going with it, I would say reality is probably more next year, which makes me very sad. Alion says, do you think the foreign snail will ever pay closer attention to fixing bugs and adding game modes for an update or two, instead of adding new shiny things? I mean, every update has a ton of... every update has a ton of bug fixes. Whether they're good bug fixes or not, they're still bug fixes. A lot of people forget about it, but the majority of devlog updates are bug fixes or changes to the existing game. So I think it's fine. I think I did an Excel spreadsheet, which I do need to copy over to my new hard drive actually, which shows the amount of premium vehicles and new vehicles they add every update. And it's been pretty consistent unless you count like when they added trees in the game, such as like the French trees or the British ground tree. Sorry. So with that said, I would actually say it's fine at the rate it is. And Lobster Man making sure to get everybody in line, so I'm very happy about that. Thank you, Lobster. Ooh, a lot of water today. Nito Rare Massacre. By the way, thank you for hanging out on the hub the last few days. It's been great to talk to you. Should they change the radar-assisted SPAA to have exact distances of aircraft instead of lead indicators? That would definitely be a way to nerf them. I would rather just have more of a proximity lead indicator instead of such an accurate one, and also to raise their BRs. If we just do exact distances, a lot of people will not be able to calculate it, especially because of the differences between something like a Chieftain, a Gepard, Chieftain Marksman, a Gepard, and a Vulcan. I would personally just prefer them to be much more not accurate and also just raised in BR. That would solve the issue for me. The X-Stocks, do you think they will add other finished vehicles? I can see over the horizon that some gift vehicles are Finnish. The Finns captured a lot of them, like a lot of German vehicles, or just used German or Russian vehicles. So with that said, yeah, I think we can, and it would be nice to see. There are some weird and funky designs coming out of the Scandinavian countries that I could definitely see in the game. Ikafu also says, is there any chance of China being added to the game? Wouldn't it be a difficult task? It depends on rights and where people stand. So the thing we know is that the Chinese do have their own tech tree on the Chinese server of War Thunder, so on the Chinese client they have it. The question is, who owns that client? Does Gaijin own the War Thunder on that client, or does the company in China who runs it own it, and therefore has the rights to all of those models as well? Now, if Gaijin owns the whole thing, or at least can negotiate that they own the whole thing, then yes, it would be very easy to do. But since that doesn't seem to be the case, it seems like they don't. So with that said, that is a bit of a worry when it comes to having a Chinese tech tree on we'll call it the international server, because then they'll have to create it from scratch. Also, something that the Chinese tanks would be a bit of fun, but the planes would not be fun at all. So yeah, I think I hope they do in the future. I think it should be the next major nation they focus on. And then I still like the idea of international tech trees, so you have like an Allied one and an Axis one. I think that would work pretty well too. Nita Ramaska says, why haven't they added Brazil yet? Because they don't have enough vehicles. Why isn't the i657? Why does TYT hack? I don't know. I'm not going to cast any allegations. I don't know if they do or not. The i6, I agree. It's a 3.0 tank at best. I don't know why it's not at 3.0. Nito Massacre, was there an ulterior motive to the football event? Probably to test new mechanics. Like, I mean, a lot of... even if it's not explicitly to test new mechanics, it will be testing new mechanics. So it's testing the interactions between the ball itself and the vehicles, and also the vehicles on the vehicles. What we saw when Ground Forces was first introduced was that it was as if there was magnets on tanks and they would get stuck together and wobble about and stuff. So generally, when we looked at the football event, you could see there was a massive improvement on that. So if the only ulterior motive I can see is them trying to look at vehicle and object collisions and trying to improve them from there. God's sake, lobster. Jurist, why you no like the South? Because you just have too much awful stuff. It's as simple as that. You need to be conquered. And we're talking about England here, not America. The north of England will rise again. We are a pleasant people. We don't have a ton of stuff right now, but we're a proud people. And we also have the largest county in England, Yorkshire. And Yorkshire is God's country, so that's why we will conquer you. And there will be nothing you can do to stop us. There never will be. Yes, you have Parliament on your side. Oh, great, you have all the toffs. Well done. Guess what toffs can't do? Fight. Guess what the Northerners can do? We're bred to fight. Look at my chest. Look at my shoulders. We are bred to do this shit, so yeah. Simple as. And... Lobster's going crazy. Vinter, help me, I'm being abused. Well, I made sure not to open this before I did this, so yeah. It is how it is. I don't know what happened. I'll have to look at the mod log and see what was deleted. Here's from Emac. Here is a question. Are Elite 3 superior to the rest? I'm guessing that's a squadron, and it's supposed to say Elite. Sure, why not? I believe Anfo's the best, though, so maybe you're second. Daddle Prince says, a wonderful German lad. Do you think they will be adding the modern Puma? The modern Puma is an interesting machine. I don't know why they would add it, though. Like, what use would it be, especially since Germany has the best, or one of the best MBTs in the game, and easily the best secondary MBT in the game. So you're basically just adding more fuel to the fire and more aggression against the German part of the community. It would be much better to focus on other nations first, such as the British and the Soviets, and then eventually get around to it. I would prefer the Marder 2, though, if we're going to talk about stuff like that. And if that's what you mean by the modern Puma, then yeah. Yeah, I think eventually they'll all get added. I'm looking forward to all of them. Charlie 2, what is your favourite marching song if you had to choose one? Erica, easily. Erica's great. Muammar Gaddafi says this. Also, will you make a Gates of Hell videos once it comes out? Well, Gates of Hell is an interesting one, isn't it? Because will it ever come out? If it ever does come out, and it seems to be in good shape, then yes, I will. I have incredible doubts about that game, though. Like, I've been following the development since, 2016? And it was supposed to be released the first quarter of 2016. So, yeah, I'm not sure about that. I just got to make sure the camera's lined up. I just battered my battered my table by accident. But yeah, if it comes out and it runs well, which is the main issue with Men of War games and Gates of Hell games, then yes, I will definitely play it. And I'll make videos on it, as long as it's single player focused. But I don't have confidence in it right now. I will have confidence once I see some betas, once I see some people playing it, and the frame rates of it. Jurist, favourite sandwich? the classic sausage and egg always comes to mind, but there are some better out there. The BLT is as long as you have fresh vegetables. So if you don't know what BLT is, it's bacon, lettuce, and tomato. You can pretty much pick them up at any petrol station in England. The only issue with them is that they're not very fresh. If you are able to make a fresh one with a little bit of mayonnaise or mustard, it is amazing. So yes. In Canada, since we don't really find that many BLTs, probably some kind of submarine sandwich with steak in it is always good. Fabi, favourite Soviet marching song? It's not really Soviet, but the Command and Conquer's Hell March. Do 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 do. Yeah, I like that one. Moama also says, was the United Kingdom not helping the CSA during the American Civil War a mistake? I suppose if you. Well, actually, I don't know. I mean, I think we're still kind of pissed off with the War of Independence. So, the UK, after the British Empire, have been great in defence, not so good in the tactical offence, when it's come to pretty much anything. So I would actually say it was a good idea that we did not help, because we would have cocked it up. What is your favourite Hot Wheels car? Let's have a look. Hot Wheels. No, I don't want the track. Let's just go to the first page, see what we see. Cars. Oh my god, there's millions. Right, we're gonna have to pick something. Oh god. Oh my god, who is this website designed for? Right, we go to here and down. There we go. Fast and Furious, BMW, High Glow, Exotics, Rescue, Snowstormers, Tuned. Tuned sounds fun. Let's go Tuned. And, oh my god. Why are there so many things? Why is this also not working? Oh my god, there's millions! Okay, we're picking this one, okay? It's a Volkswagen Beetle 4 out of 5. Can we change the colour? No. Okay, this one. Because there are literally millions, so screw that. Holy hell. Right, why is War Thunder updating itself? Right. I didn't realise there was millions of the damn things. Just the guy, when will you punish your abusive mods? Cough like Lobster Man. The mods have complete autonomy on the server. They can do whatever they want. If the moderators feel like something is necessary and they can get a majority on board, they'll do it. So yeah, simple as. Just stating the facts, shit, facts, autocorrect. Why is that here? Okay, buttnut. Favorite Matchbox and Hot Wheels car? Why is this a thing? Where did these come from? We're going with that weird car that we just saw before, okay? Tour of the fancy cars you own. I would do that. I'm in the wrong country, though. I think one day when I actually am in England, because I will have to be there soon, for some family stuff, then yes, I will do that. I think it'll be really fun. Will Sam Hyde ever stop getting away with it? Moama, no he won't. He will continue to always get away with it. Always. Peshka, why is the PE2 359 4.7 when aircraft at this BR have far better speed, payload and guns? A great question, and the reason is because nobody plays it. They have no statistical data on it, and therefore they won't change its BR. You've got to remember a lot of the decisions that Gaijin make is generally based on statistics and then personal opinion before that and after that. So if nobody plays a vehicle, then there's not really much point in changing it, because if they change it and people play it and then it still doesn't do well, then they're going to have to change it again. I think it's more of a machine which is kind of stuck in the past with the old system of BRs, and that's kind of sad. I would personally lower it though. Muammar Gaddafi, give opinion on this. Hot news straight from War Thunder Plebis. So the Reddit. Heavy tank, IHE. Great. So its name is Heavy Tank. What? Are we literally basing a new heavy tank for Japan on 4 lines and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 symbols? No. Sorry, I need more information. Exploit. Why is bird? Because bird is the word. Lieutenant Grumpy. Ford or Holden? Definitely Ford. Muammar Gaddafi. Plebit post about the Type 96. I'll have a look after. I'm just not interested in any Japanese heavy tank anymore. I've had too many discussions and too many rabbit holes to care about that stuff. If any more information actually comes out instead of 14 symbols, then I'll give it an actual look. Like pictures and stuff like that. But no, that is not concrete evidence of literally anything. Exploits. Favorite tank, plane tank in real life and in game. Hurricane. And what did we say before? Chaffee. Yeah, let's go with that. That's also in game and in real life. Matrix. Do you like mangoes? Sometimes. I have to be in the mood. I know that sounds really odd, but I do have to be in the mood for mangoes. I don't know why. It's just one of those odd things, you know. When are you going to read Chuck Tingle? Why plain old jokes do you have to ruin it? So, probably either tomorrow or the next day, depending on when this goes up. I'm going to start a new series, and it's going to be reading fantasy gay porn, because for some reason, well, actually no, it isn't for some reason. I was like, you know what, I'll do it. But I was talking to Rocker, and he mentioned it and explained it, and I was like, yeah, okay. If you chuck this my way, I'll give it a read and do it for the channel. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a series of reading about Chuck Tingle. Bwendel says, why do many people hate Stoner? Because he is put in an unfortunate position of having to answer questions which there is no true answer for, which is an issue with every PR team ever. And if a position is not held by the company, which is held by the community, he has to be the guy who tries to bridge the gap, and it's impossible to do. On top of this, a lot of people see a lot of his remarks as abrasive and aggressive, and I can understand that. But from my point of view, I don't really care about that stuff, so it is how it is. But yeah, basically, he is given the thankless job of trying to bridge a gap, which will never be bridged, and he basically gets abused for it. And yes, he lashes out sometimes, and yes, he gets what may seem unreadily aggressive. But as somebody who does have to sometimes deal with public backlash, it isn't something to take lightly. It is something that will blow up on you incredibly quickly, and with a person like Stoner in his position, I'm sure he gets a lot more what I would deem as abuse than I do. Muammar Gaddafi says, when will you get Kazakhstan citizenship? I don't know, I need to talk to Borat. John McCarthy, what do you want added to the game next the most? A game mode or a tank, plane, ship? What is it? Oh god, here we go. I'll just answer this. There you go, Zika. Enjoy being in the video. Anyway, where are we at? I need to go down a little bit. Down quite a lot. There we go. Why is this blocked? What? Okay. It's because of the, no it isn't, I don't know why. What do you want added to the game next the most? Game mode? I would like some new maps, to be honest. I would like some maps based around the Pacific, since I feel like I don't want a Japanese city map. I want stuff like Iwo Jima. I want stuff like Peleliu and places like that for tank maps. I know they're not the easiest and might not be the most interesting to do, but yeah, that's what I would like. I don't really care about new tanks, planes, or ships. I would just like more interesting locations. And if I had to choose a new game mode, describe it, basically enduring confrontation with realistic battles, with a more focus on railways, paratroopers, bases, renewing, and supply lines. What do you see as the game's biggest current problem, bug? How would you fix it? It's either going to be grinding in rank 6 for modern tanks, or it's the balance between fighters, attackers, and bombers. Because right now, if you have too many attackers, and they're competent, then the enemy team gets nailed in about 5 minutes. If they're not competent, then the other team gets nailed in about 7 or 8 minutes, because they are half a team down because they're full of useless attackers. Same idea with bombers, but a little bit more lenient with it. So overall, yeah, it's the balance between the vehicles that you have in Aerialistic, because it can literally be at a point where you try and win a battle, but you are like 4 or 5 fighters down before you even start. Doki Doki Literature Club Let's Play When from Red Andreas. I could literally do it tomorrow, if it was just me, but I want to try and get other people together to do it. And then we have Vane. Curious to know your opinion on the effects that YouTubers have on the game. As influencers, I feel that they highlight worthy issues, but also draw attention to exploits and arguably game-breaking mechanics, and in addition to that, comment on things arguing one way or another when they have debatable experience in said vehicle mode. Start doing some one-on-one interviews with senior mods. You hinted at it a while back, now follow through. I have the highest esteem for Mr. OP Senator. Would be great to hear him weigh in on things. Well, yeah, I am going to do a video with OP. And when it comes to YouTubers, I feel like they should just make the content they want to create. They shouldn't see themselves as influencers or worried about how their opinion is going to affect the community. They should just do what they like. One of the things that did kind of annoy me, though, was it a week? It was the American holiday, the 4th of July, and Many Miles did a stream, and he decided that he was going to break top-tier matchmaking by bringing in a bunch of reserves. Now, for maybe young people or people who are in on it about, a bunch of reserves coming into top-tier games, that's really cool and funny and ha-ha. But for everyone else, it annihilates their experience. It just makes the game useless and pointless for those people. So overall, I would prefer it if people didn't do that. I kind of like it how Fly does it, where it keeps it to custom games. But when you're affecting the actual matchmaker and just being a dick about it, in my opinion, and annihilating matchmaking for a lot of people, it's just bad, because you're for personal fulfillment, you are annoying other people, and I always think that balance is not good. You shouldn't, if you are getting gratification out of something by harming another person's enjoyment of it, then that's just bad juju in my head. But overall, I think, yeah, people should make stuff that they want and then get critiqued on it as it should be, and then critique whoever they want as it goes along. Pretty much as simple as that, really. I don't think anybody should feel constrained by the fact that they have a large following or anything like that. And if they do, then with that being said, I think they just need to relax, take a chill pill, and understand that, yes, they may have an influence, but the reason they have the influence is because the people are there for their opinion. And if you get rid of the part of it where you do the opinion stuff and just become a milquetoast person who doesn't want to say anything raunchy, then the whole thing falls apart. You should be honest, you should be opinionated, and you should be objective and explain why you think certain ways. That seems to be what people respond to, at least the people who don't want to just see highlights or meme videos, which is good. But anyway, it looks like that was the last question of them all. Has been quite a few of them. I apologize if I have missed any. But overall, that has been the 9K Q&A. For the 10K, we'll definitely do another Q&A. But we'll also be doing some other things. I hope you've enjoyed the content of the last few weeks. I will be ramping it up again once I finish the floor and also some other things. But yeah, it's kind of as simple as that. I need to get back to making reviews on vehicles. That is what I started in the game, and that's what I enjoy doing the most. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and thank you once again for 9K subscribers. I'll see you next time.